Hopefully, that things looking as they should do? Question mark. Wouldn't that be nice? So yeah, here's hoping everything's working. Let me know if you can hear me or not hear me, or as the case may be. But yeah, we are pretty much there. I hope everyone's had a good week. Obviously, since we last talked, 320 has landed with a new ship for us to play around. Well, two new ships, I guess. One of them very much the same as the other. Notorious Stunner Edison. Good evening, gents. Good to see you all. Glad audio is green. This is good news. Fantastic. Okie dokie. Same deal as before. Window is wide open and it's dark, so the lights are going to start to attract all the bugs. So, yay. And then I'll spend another day cleaning them out tomorrow. The pains of streaming. So, to celebrate the fact that 320 is here, I'm going to do what I haven't done yet, which is completely ignore it for the purposes of gameplay, and I'm just going to play Starfield instead. The patch doesn't really contain a lot at the moment that interests me. However, that does appear to have changed somewhat with recent information that they've put in, and I suppose we can kind of cover this now, right? So, let's go and have a look. So, here we are. We've got some extra stuff that's been put in, it looks like, for the point patch, which is good news. So, obviously, what's come with this, Olisar is dead, long live Olisar, replaced by Seraphim Station, which a lot of people are going to miss Olisar. I'm going to miss Olisar. It's the first location I ever logged into in the game that wasn't the hangar. So that's really, really cool. However, it's gone because it wasn't really fit for purpose. It wasn't going to be able to cope with the extra vagaries of things like cargo, of having hospitals, all that sort of stuff. And it looks like now it really needed to become a bit more of a hub, especially when you consider how much of a pain it can be getting off the surface of the planet. So, Seraphim's in. Interesting that we have things here like we have the Salvage Mission cover-up, but we don't have the other one yet. So this is the scraping all the identifying marks off of a hull so that the hull isn't then kind of recognisable to law enforcement. We've got some physicalised cargo updates basically to support the hull C. So yeah, basically, yeah, 320, blah blah, no parasites, end of transmission. But you know, the large SCU containers had to come on to support the hull C, and now there's a little bit more progress down the road of things taking a while before you actually get to move the cargo around. Crew consignment isn't in yet, but then most of them, as we've talked about at great length, Arena Commander is the focus of the 320 patch. Front end changes, the way it all appears, the way we see it all, new maps, new modes, various different bits added, taken away, mixed up. What was interesting, I don't know if I saw it in there, but the kind of custom games, I don't think. Oh no, they did. The experimental game modes did make it in, so that's good news. And that's pretty much it. Now the point patches are where I find it's really interesting. Yep, we've got the Fury LX. Yep, we've got the Hull C. More about them in a little while, and some wheeled vehicle handling improvements. Although I haven't had the time to test or speak to anyone who's tested that. No, Percy is so patch bad, said Edison. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Crusader C1 and A1, both due to come with a point patch, as is the Tumbrel Storm, as is the Argeo SRV. And to go along with the SRV is obviously vehicle tractor beams, which is going to be quite an interesting step change. I don't know whether they are planning to make that all of them. So I know the Cutty, I think, has one. I know the Constellation Taurus has them. There's a lot of ships that are waiting for that sort of functionality in it. I would imagine one or two of them will get them. Obviously, the SRV will get them. But I would imagine they're probably waiting for pretty much the same thing. CIG having said that they don't want to release ships without their respective functionality ready to go with them, you would expect then that we wouldn't see the SRV unless the tractor beams are ready to go as well. And the new Crusader platforms, which, you know, I'm hoping work quite well. That would be certainly something that would tempt me back into the verse, but we're not there yet. So, you know, we're certainly not at the point where that's in. And then, unsurprisingly, no information yet on what 3.21 is going to bring with it. It might be that the optimists might say that that's because it's going to be 4.0. I doubt it, but we'll wait and see. As normal, there'll be a week or two before they kind of confirm what's coming next. Yeah, as we've said before, it's a bit of an underwhelming patch in terms of everything else that they've got going on. The focus is undoubtedly Arena Commander, and it's okay to be a little bit disheartened and a little bit disengaged, I think, from it all. I certainly don't really, you know, have a choice as far as I'm concerned. That's just, sorry, a little bit of view into the magic in the background. But, you know, it's just going to be one of those things that we're just going to have to put up with for the time being. It's fine. That's okay if that's how, you know, people feel about it and whatever else. Everyone needs to kind of step away every so often, and that's where I feel like I am in a minute. You know, I'm getting back into the space to want to create videos, but I don't feel like Star Citizen's giving any easy balls at the minute. Yeah, Monster Over says, I think it's good that they focused on Arena Commander and the FPS. In his opinion, they needed work. It's unfortunate we didn't get more, but Arena Commander was really falling behind. And then Natura says, the Arena Commander rework has been a godsend for my old org. Now they don't need to spend 30 to 60 minutes setting up. I'm really glad that's working out for people, and that those improvements have come in. You know, it's one of those things that we were short on patches last year. We're short on patches this year, because let's face it, 3.19 was a bit of a nothing patch, other than trying to fix the game. You know, and I get it. I'm not saying that CIG aren't pulling their weight. I'm certainly not. That's not where I'm trying to go with that. They've got a lot of work fixing the back end. They've got a lot of work bringing things up to date. But if all you want to do is play PU, you know, it's going to be a little bit meh, right? That's how it's going to be, and I don't think that there's don't think there's much that people can say that says otherwise. Do you know what I mean? Jesus, where did that come from? Something's making noise, and I don't know why. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for it to do that. Yeah, so that's kind of where we are at the minute. You know, although, you know, if you guys have had really good experiences of 320, then say. Obviously, we've got the Hull C, you know, and the big thing about the Hull C is that it's changing cargo, and it's starting to open up the very varied universe that CIG is trying to build. What do I mean by that? Well, they're starting to bring out ships that it's not just that they're not very good at doing something, as they just flat out can't. They flat out cannot land on a planet when they've got when they're extended and carrying cargo. They flat out cannot support their own weight in atmosphere when they're carrying cargo. other than, you know, areas like Horizon, which are like low grav anyway, or supposed to be low grav, although when you jump around it doesn't make any difference. You know, so you can fly down to Horizon, and actually that's part of why Horizon was chosen by Crusader, or sorry, you know, the planet was chosen, and Horizon was one of those sites where they build the Hercules because it is low grav. There's not as much strain on the airframe while they're building it, so it's a bit of a low cost option for them. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit about the Hull C. You know, it's one of those things that people will very much pick on, the fact that it's only 3 size 3 turrets, one of which is slave to the pilot. It's not massively gunned for a ship of its size, so about 100, I think it's about 120 meters long. But that's not the point of it. It's going to be in high air security space. It's going to be an area with patrols, or if it is in risky areas, you know, it should have a set of escorts taken with it to help it get to where it needs to go. Likely in convoy to make that more viable. Because, you know, if you're going to buy a squadron of ships to help you, it's easier to spread that across the cost of many merchantmen and many kind of haulage companies. It becomes cheaper. And they become one big target to deal with rather than loads of little ones that you can just pick up. So yeah, that's the theory of convoys. You know, other than that, Monterevi says, agreed, security should come from escorts and guards. Every cargo ship shouldn't be a pocket battleship. Yeah, 100%. You know, when they talk about the Banu merchantman, they call it a blockade runner. Obviously, it's not a blockade fighter or a blockade breaker. It's a blockade runner. But it has got some serious size 7s on the top turret. You know, it's got some serious weaponry to back it up. That is evidently not what they want the staple merchantman to be, despite the fact that lots of people have bought it because it's a gorgeous looking ship. But yeah, you know, it's. I think as these cargo changes roll out, this is where you're going to see different things with cargo begin to take shape. So people will go, well, at the moment, cargo hauling in an Avenger isn't worth it. It isn't viable versus taking a Herc or a Caterpillar. And you're entirely right. But, you know, the idea is that obviously as ships get bigger, the more cargo they can carry, the value of the cargo that they can carry drops. Why? Well, high value cargo is by definition rarer than low value cargo. You know, there's a reason why, for example, you know, because if there's an excess of something, it can't be high value, even if it's quite expensive. Having more of it cheapens it because you've got more supply than demand, which means people start dropping their prices, and so on and so forth. So you're not going to have hulls shifting entire quantities of quantanium or, you know, top end computer parts or whatever that, you know, the top end cargoes will end up being, because things like that will be tiny in nature. You know, you imagine nowadays, you know, there's a reason why we shift food in trucks and ships, and diamonds get shifted by one person with an armed escort or in an armored car, right? Because if you had enough diamonds to fill a merchant ship, diamond prices would crash. It's going to be the same here. So Avengers will be shipping very highly specialized cargo. You know, you might not even look at it in the first instance as something that's shifting cargo, because you could put it in a Hornet in their storage area or whatever else, and you're not looking at that for carrying cargo. So that's not where you're, you know, where you're trying to target things, and actually running around very high value, small quantity cargoes is going to be, you know, kind of where the smaller haulers are going to make their money. The larger haulers are going to make it in bulk. And it says clearly the best cargo for high value cargo. The cargo ship for high value cargo is the Perseus. Stop saying Perseus. I can only get so. You know the joke? Good. But yeah, so that's the start there. And then there's the Fury LX or whatever the hell it's called. Great. It's a racing ship. Sorry, there's not much more I feel like I can say to that. It's a racing ship, and that's what it is. And I don't really know if there's much else that I can say to that. I'm going to cover it now, and then I'm going to cover it again a little later on, and then we'll do some mucking around in Starfield, and then we'll come back and see something else that I've found and looked at and everything else. But let's have a look. So, CitizenCon then. Just a very quick plug from me. CitizenCon, obviously that weekend, 21st, 22nd of October, I believe. I will be streaming it for the whole weekend, despite the fact that even if it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning, that's a 5 o'clock start in the evening for me. You're in the UK, a little bit later if you're in mainland Europe. Really looking forward to seeing what they've got going. I'll probably start streaming about an hour, maybe half an hour beforehand. We are going to play Stream Bingo. And by bingo, I mean drinking game. However, there will be no rules on how much you get to drink or how much you have to drink if something is mentioned or something is revealed. But there will be a bingo card that I'll do my level best to have on, and I will, tick things off as we go, and things will be a drink. But we'll have fun. Obviously we can't drink every time they say soon, because we'll be all dead by about 3 hours into the event. But that'll be really cool. I'm just going to get some drinking. Minifidge is right next to me. I'm going to get some drinking, get some nibbles, and we are going to sit and watch the whole thing together. You're more than welcome. In the little gaps, if we do get gaps, then we'll be in Discord having a look, having a chat about it. We'll do like a little after party, I guess, and go from there. Or, depending on how late it finishes and how drunk we are by that stage, it might be a little pre-party on the Sunday. But let's see how we go. Yeah, Kako, I mean, I can drink quite a bit, but yeah, I think I can manage 3 hours. Matt Stunner says, are clothes optional? I won't be wearing any. No, I obviously will. I mean, I'll probably be like dressed from the waist up. But yeah, so for you, as long as you're not on camera and you're not going to put yourself on camera in Discord, clothes are entirely at your own discretion. Please God, no photos in general chat. But yeah, and if you want to join us in Discord, make sure you're already in the channel. If not, just stick us a message in YouTube chat, and I'll make sure that there's a link in there available for you. Cool. Other than that, there's not a lot of information in here. I guess the big question is this one. What is the event 2 days this year? And their answer is, and I can second this because I was there, but when we did the last physical CitizenCon, there were 2 stages, and at different times, you had to choose what is it that you wanted to go and watch. You didn't have the choice of everything. You had to make some decisions. You can imagine for shows like where, or for sets where they were talking about the next ships coming out, they were massively oversubscribed. The other stage, not so much. So that's what they're talking about here. Community feedback made a number of changes. A one-day show packed with panels prevented many people from being able to get up, enjoy the venue, and properly socialise with friends. With a 2-day show, we're able to put on a show with a more enjoyable pace that allows attendees to truly immerse themselves in all that the venue has to offer, alongside fellow community members. Yes, that's certainly part of the case. However, there are rumblings that what's actually happening is that they're doing 2 days because they're going to do 1 day Star Citizen and 1 day Squadron 42. Now, I don't know how accurate that is, and I would be very, very surprised. We might get a snippet, we might get a segment on Squadron 42, similar to what they did with the comms relay station Asiado when they did that bit, like the first of the video updates, which was also the last, bizarrely. But I would be very, very shocked, pleasantly surprised, admittedly, but I would be very shocked if Squadron 42 takes centre stage that weekend. What do you guys think? Squadron 42 announcement incoming this CitizenCon. I mean, I've got no insider knowledge. There's no one reaching out. There's none of this stuff. There is a little bit of a rumbling within the info runners that certain people within CIG may or may not have reached out. I haven't seen any of that, so I can't talk to it and can't say whether or not that has happened. But Montravi says they don't really seem to have any big ships to reveal to take time unless they're going back to no work concepts. So you would hope it is news on Squadron. Yeah. Although the interesting thing is maybe they're trying to make it up with the new price of the Hull C. Because that went up quite a bit. We had a conversation about that last week. Edison, Khan, and myself. That was a bit of a food for thought style moment. Always keep the camera above your Hull C, says Stunner. It was a mistake letting you in Discord, wasn't it? That's basically what we're saying. Yes, words to live by, my friend. If you don't get that put on a bumper sticker, I'm going to be massively upset. My other driver's a Hull C or something like that. But yeah, nice. Yeah, look, it would be really nice to see Squadron 42 there. One of the things that I did notice, and while I'm here, I'm just going to... Yeah, thanks, Edison. That's a D joke. No, we got it. We were there. We were right there, my friend. I'm... One of the things that I did see, which was really, really interesting, as far as I'm concerned, I know other people might be like, why is that interesting? Is the Squadron 42 monthly report for August. Came out last week. One of the interesting things here is that before I'd seen a lot in these reports that made me think, nah, it's miles away. It's miles away. That looks like core work that you're doing here. And, you know, now reading through it, I'm trying to find something in here that looks like core fundamental work that we've seen in every other report I've ever seen, and I can't see them. The only thing where I think that might hint at how far, you know, things have got to go. The bugs have started, bastards. How far we've got to go. There's a couple of things about needing to get people in to video capture some sections, and that's it. You know, where you see them that they began to do something. This is such low-level stuff, like here, right? They also began developing animations for Marine Squad hand signals to sell group movement and combat. I mean, great, but that's not. No one's going to get really upset if that isn't in the game. You know, implemented new functionality. A lot of this is very, very basic. So working through issues, fixing faults, flight improvements, fine tune. So there's nothing in that team's work that's doing anything. You know, close out animations, adjusting things again, changing the feel of it. Progress made on AI. To add the finishing narrative touches to certain areas. And again, this is lots of polish, lots of improvement, lots of performance fixes. There's lots of stuff here that isn't what they're going. So Stunner says, in his opinion, either Squadron 42 release date or announcement soon, but with actual new tech finished in Squadron shown at CitizenCon and being brought into Star Citizen. Edison says, I don't know when it came to new concepts this year for me. It's been a disappointing year for concepts so far. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Monster AV, did they say they're keeping the studio cycle for CitizenCon locations next year? Wonder which they prefer to release it at. Well, that's, of course, AV, that is the one thing that caused pause earlier on in the year, and that's when I said, Squadron 42 looks more likely. If you want a red carpet event with a lot of the people that they have working on this project, LA is the place to do it. That's still the bit in my mind that goes, maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. Like I say, still think it's very unlikely, but happy to be pleasantly surprised. Notorious says Chris Roberts will get upset, and that's what matters. Not entirely sure what that's a response to, but yes. Yeah, so all the way through this, work begin on the vehicle radar's landing UI, which is really interesting here. So the idea is that as you land, there'll be a radar map so you can bring the ship down without having to go to third person, which may, controversial opinion here, stop people from be a first step down the road of stopping people going to third person in certain situations. Again, elsewhere, gameplay features continued extending crane controller functionality based on a new use case. Improvements. Everything in here all the way through. So began looking into changes to vehicle aiming. So there's no new work starting. It really doesn't seem. Even the story. So new mocap data was used to incorporate some dialogues. And then this bit here. The team switched focus to preparing for upcoming narrative shoots. From everything I can find in this report, that's the one that makes it sound the longest away. 20 new gameplay story scenes being recorded, and we are keen to ensure the resulting data can be implemented as smoothly as possible. That's the longest term bit in here. Improvements were made, progress was made, prototype completed of the glint shading model. Comes in 3 versions. Teams are now investigating whether or not they can take one into production. So this sounds like a completely superfluous, almost, well, we've got some time, let's see if we can make it work. Right. You were saying how it wouldn't upset anyone if they just didn't bother with redoing mocap. It would upset Chris, and we don't know how it upset Keir. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely adopting the perfection bit about it. It's going to be interesting again. I feel like Starfield and Squadron 42 is the better comparison, because they're both single player and they're both trying to tell stories from different perspectives. Where Bohemia gives you, Bohemia? I'm thinking Arma. Bethesda gives you, here's a world, go fill your boots. It very much looks like there's still going to be the chapter run on rails-esque idea that has been in all of Chris's previous games, but bearing in mind that Chris and his wing commander pioneered the idea of having your teammates react to your decisions and like you more or less depending on the actions that you took. That was basically Wing Commander's contribution to gaming as a whole, was wow. The computer figures out whether or not it likes you based on how you deal with missions. So it wouldn't be a surprise to think that he's got something else up his sleeve that comes to the fore in Star Citizen. Yeah. So, not masses in there. You know, even the research and development. I know I've switched off, but I'm just gonna get the next bit ready for us all as well. Work on the temporal render mode continued. A new disocclusion detection system was implemented, so it's in. Various code was updated to work with recent Gen 12 improvements. So even the research and development. That's it. 3 lines, 3 sentences. So I really do feel like, from what's being said in here, if they are being, and that's the big if, right? If they're being honest, we are coming close to what's there. Monterevi says, would say that Bethesda is better for freedom, but it's just not a real space sim. It's an RPG in space. Squadron will probably be more locked on rails, but much more space sim. Yeah, 100%. And one of the things that so I can show you this in just a second. I'll show you this in just a moment. I'll kill the volume just for now. One of the things that's been really apparent playing Starfield as much as I have done over the last couple of days is that how spoilt we are with ship design in Star Citizen, right? So just to take you around and show you what that looks like, I'm just going to change over. You may or may not be able to hear at the minute. But that's going. Let's change over. Let me know if you can hear it, because that's kind of key. But we're going to land at Paradiso. Okay, so despite some of the rugged looks, I'm just going to go and take us back on the ship. So this is the Kepler R. It's a ship you get as a response to a quest. Good. So this is not built by me. This is built by the game. And the idea is that you go to this company here, Stroud Eklund, and you basically become an R&D project manager for a project that either creates a little ship with a very limited budget or a monstrosity with an almost limitless budget, and that's what I went for, so this is the ship I got out of it. Now, in terms of ship design, have a look at this versus Star Citizen, and this is exactly the point that Avi's making in terms of the difference between a game that is a space game and a game that is set in space. Starfield being the latter, Star Citizen being the former. Right, so this is running round and doing all the bits that we need to do. Okay, most of this is useless, right? There's not much of this that I can interact with. I can interact with the navigation console and decide where I want to go. I've got a sick bay, which is kind of cool. You know, there's a few places where I can go and, you know, steal my own stuff, bizarrely. But, you know, in terms of where to go next, who in Star Citizen would decide that the ladder up to the next deck has to be in the sick bay? Right? Yeah, Avi, I think we're about to make exactly the same point here. Okay, so, like, literally, really? I mean, apart from someone in health and safety having an absolute fit over this right now without really knowing why, that's not a great... Do you know what I mean? It's just not, you know, you can imagine not only someone from health and safety, but morphologists probably pitching a fit right now, just because of the room design. So you've got your galley and your kitchen, and then in the middle of the galley, there's like a massive ladder going up 3 decks, which, funnily enough, is where we need to go next. So there's our cold room, right? And there's no real flow to this. So it's just, there's no central that, you know, they're looking at this from the function of modularity. They're, you know, there you go. You can just do that as much as you want. So yeah, it's not ideal. It's certainly not designed in a way that, you know, we would recognise for this. Who wants to go and have a meeting here? I didn't put that poster. I didn't put that poster there. Right. Stunner says, I don't know. I've kind of like it. I've been in plenty of meetings that I wish I could just fall down a ladder. Yeah, haven't we all? Nice. There's another navigation console just wedged in the middle of nowhere. Here's us. So this is the island of Paradiso. This is like the holiday planet, right? But there you go. That's Paradiso. So we're now in the center of the ship. We can go up further if we want to. It just feels, you know, there's part of the reason why it's not like the other one. You know, it's not that sim. It's just set in space. You know, and it's like I said before, there's some times where you get out and you go, oh, that's cool. You know, I really like it. Like this. Looks cool. You know, it might look a little bit budget. It's definitely got some Dubai vibes happening. You know, with the whole form so close to function sort of thing. I don't know why he was looking at us like we were doing something wrong. This is your spaceport bits and pieces down here. Yeah. George says there's an art to this, but I've managed to get the interior right with exactly one bespoke ship. That's cool. Well, I mean, at least that works, right? That's you know, if you're happy with the ships that you're putting together, that's key. You know, and everything else behaves exactly as you would like it. You would expect a Bethesda game to behave. Right.
Hello.
So.
Why did I think 3 days was going to be enough?
I have no idea, friend. So we've got some air filters for this dude, because apparently, when I go on holiday, I decide to help people move air.
One of my maintenance people said they heard something rattling around in one of the purifiers. Thanks. I'll make sure that...
Okay. Ta-da! Don't know why. Don't know why that was even a thing.
Someone put up cute drawings in the staff lodging. Not sure where they came from, but they're cute.
So yeah. Great. Joy of many joys. So yes. So one of the things I've discovered about this that I really, really enjoyed was that I had come up against a quest where you have a choice of how you're going to deal with it, who you're going to go and help first. Now, I googled it afterwards. Oh, no. Right, 2 seconds. That's what it meant by you've got contraband on your ship. Good. So one of the things that it came up with was, when I googled it, it showed me who had complete, you know, who that person thought they had, you know, who the choice was. It turns out that it's not set. There's a couple of people that can't be chosen for this particular thing, without wanting to give too much away. But who the game does choose is very much dependent on who you've done your missions with, who you have reputation with, and where they stand in their reputation with you. When I discovered this, I was solidly unhappy with what the game decided to do, and had to lose 4 hours of the game, because by the time I'd look back in my
and just in time,
in my autosaves, I'd gone so far down the path that I couldn't go to before the decision was made without losing 4 hours of gameplay, including by building outposts and all sorts of stuff. So I've got an outpost. I'm going to show you how that looks. We can go visit that next. So if I do that and we go to that, in fact, I kind of want to go back onto the ship first. So let's do this. So yeah. So I've got some contraband that I obviously need to sell somewhere. But if you have it on your character,
Any new orders for me?
it will automatically be picked up in a scan. If you have it not on your character, then you'll be and your ship is shielded, you'll be able to hide it. Unfortunately, this ship, as I've just remembered, doesn't have shielding. So I have this stolen artwork that I'm probably just going to get rid of. Jettisoned, because it's not worth all the time it's going to take to go and sell it. Calico, yes. I think you might. It features Vladimir very heavily, but that's what we're going to go and work together now. We are going to go and talk to Vladimir to locate some temples. And he, I think, is going to want us to take a Barrett with us. So let's go set a course to the lodge. So that's the original ship. That's the original Frontier. I'm still flying that mostly, except for when I'm ferrying supplies to and from my outpost, because I've got so much that the Frontier can't handle it. So I changed to the big one, the Kepler, the monstrosity that you've just seen, and then I go
am
back
glad to be back. It will be good to have a moment to relax.
Captain, hello again. I was uncertain you would return.
I know everyone's excited by the artifacts, but we need to be as objective as possible and be aware of possible negative
Was doing the
effects.
tallies work in my head. Inventory on the station, next supply run. Been poring over the charts, looking for an...
Feel free to help yourself at the bar. I don't drink, but I feel like if I did, now would be a good time for one.
Forgot to check the math on a few equations. The brain's long gone. Find myself thinking. You know you can take a mark. You don't open comms. It's... But if you're not so sure, you play the bullies. Maybe. All the worse for us, not knowing their intent. A striker lurking in the shadows has good reason to hide.
So he's talking about the
Won't
Starboard.
be easy to drag them into
This
the
stream
light.
is sponsored by Coca-Cola, because I'm still not drinking in the evenings. I was on a course last week, away with the guys, so we were drinking well, I say drinking. We had a drink every night, and I just can't drink all week long. It does my nut. So yes, so I'm
Show the words
detoxing
another
this
time.
weekend. Maybe next
Ask
weekend
if you've got
we can
questions.
have a few beers together.
Speak up if you have ideas. We're all here for the same reason.
So yeah,
Can I help?
I don't know. Can you?
Something you need? So long.
So steady, Sarah. Good lord.
Take note. Everyone here is worth learning from. You're doing Constellation proud.
So I seem to be all right. Most people like me. I think we're probably a little bit too far away from this part of the story. Matey, that's Andresia's room. Oh yes, and so you guys are aware.
I was just thinking about you. I know that tone.
Right, so we've got two things left to say to my in-game wife, Andresia. So every day I'm so grateful to have you in my life, or you have the most beautiful eyes. I get so lost in them. My character is like me. He deflects bad situations with humor. She knows that. She's said it a couple of times. So if it sounds cheesy and tongue-in-cheek, that's probably how it's intended. So which one am I going for? Every day or beautiful eyes? Let me know. You decide how I'm flirting with my... This is like the most you're ever getting into my personal life. So make the most of it, because it ain't happening again.
Are you all right?
Stunner says eyes. Notorious says eyes. Let's go for it.
Thank you, dearest. You are not so bad yourself.
Bless her.
I will be here for you.
And that's probably about as
always.
much as I can help her for in real life as well. So, let's see if Sam's around.
I must confess,
Blech.
in the middle of a grav drive. I hope Cora doesn't get too much underfoot. Yeah, I was done too.
Rude. Okay, so we go back to the. I don't want to go back to the ship. That was very clearly the wrong key. I'm just going to run around oiling grenades into people's rooms now. Fuck it. Oops, sorry. Well, that's the divorce. Good. Yes, it is. Yeah, the guy that did Sam Coe did Adam Jensen. He also did another character from a game that I'm not familiar with. But that's why I instantly liked having him around. Because Deus Ex Human Revolution was a masterpiece of a game. Absolutely love it. Let's go to the star map. Let's go to New Atlantis. So good. So good. How's the stream quality been? I've tried it on low latency to try and reduce the time it takes for me to ask questions and for you guys to be able to answer them. But is it affected the quality anyway? Are we all right? So I'm going to view and modify.
Have at it.
So as you can see, Frontier is slightly different now. It's grown an extra deck basically and has a bunch of extra modules bolted onto it. Good, thank you. I'm going to make this my home ship now. And very quickly, I have a feeling I'm going to have a bunch of random stuff to sell. Yeah. So every time you tidy up your ship, for whatever reason, you change your ship, all the junk that's accumulated inside just gets thrown into here. So all this stuff was the junk that was sitting in my ship before I changed it over. So, oh well, never mind. But this thing's got some more limited modules on it. That's shielding for the cargo. Some of the cargo modules themselves are shielded, so I can shift contraband around and be a lot more confident it's not going to
Always a satisfying moment to return to your ship.
Oh, someone's picked something up for me. That's nice. What I am going to do first, though, is just go to the menu, ship. So, Hadrian's assigned to the ship. Can I assign? I don't think I can assign anyone else. No, because the ship's full. Okay. That's fine. Okie dokie. And I need Hadrian for the mission, and Andrea Andrasius. Yeah, she's just staying. So there. Yes, yeah. And AV every time. AV says, the cluster is nice for realism, but my god, it kills me having to sell 60 plus cups and pens and everything. Yeah, to constantly have to do that's a bit pants. So I've got frostbite. I mean, I've just been to a tropical planet. I don't feel like that should be a thing. But we'll treat it anyway. That's done. Okay, so I've got 4 skill points to play with. So if we need skill points, we can have skill points. Let's go get mission on. So let's go on that one. Don't know why I did that. Okay. Yeah, landing at the scanner anomaly on Cassiopeia. Yeah, I kind of like the colour. But part of me also thinks that my crew should just learn to tidy up after themselves rather than make me. So, spoilers. If you don't want to know what's going on here, then I would very much recommend that you don't watch this next bit or listen to this next bit. Fair warning. You gone yet? Those that don't like spoilers. In 3, 2, 1. So, in effect, what's happening here is we found these artifacts. They're now aligning to the temples. We found these temples, and they basically match signatures. So every artifact we find, we're finding these locations of these temples. And when my character goes there and attunes with that temple, he's given a skill. Kind of like a Jedi. Right? It's very, very kind of cool-ish. But the powers I have at the moment are making a personal atmosphere for myself, propel myself forwards, creating an anti-gravity field so everything just kind of floats in midair. Gravity waves, so like force push. Creator's peace, so force my opponents to put their weapons down. Precognition is understanding. It is like you see where they're going to walk or what they're going to say. And sense star stuff is great when it comes to sneaky missions, because you sense everyone around you, so you can figure out where they are, which is kind of cool. Kelko says, free credits and use it to overstuff your ship hold. Yeah, I mean, it does. So, you know, if your ship's hold is full, it still fills those areas. Also, love the boost packs.
I do not think I could tire of seeing these magnificent structures.
Okay, so into the temple we go, and what's going to happen now is we're going to tune to it. So all it is the temple is actually 0 gravity, like that. Okay. So it's going to start to do this, and then what we're looking for is orbs that coalesce. So I'm trying to grab as many of these as I can. Lots of flying, lots of me tilting my head, trying to turn, and all that good stuff. Just like when we used to play with controllers when we were little. And sometimes they just seem to like wear out, like that one. And then it does this. Yeah, glowy orbs, glowy. I mean, stunner on that front. The banning Edison before I'm going to do it. I mean, that's a given on almost a daily basis. Space Samurai! Woohoo! So, just explain what happens there. We've encountered a race or a faction called the Starbound, who have warned us off doing what we are doing. They keep intercepting us, attacking us at these sites. They also send ships down after us, and the ships are very noticeable for two reasons. One is their design, and one is their normally when a ship is sent after you, what can't happen is or you know, a ship sent after you, you shoot them. As long as you don't damage the ship. What also happens is you can fight your way onto the ship. You can take it over if you're the correct level to pilot it, etc., etc., etc. Starborn ships you cannot. They also look very, very different. The guys that come off them, they can cloak. They have weapons that are really, really ouchy. So we don't know what it is that they want. We don't know what it is that they're trying to achieve. They've just warned us off doing what we're doing, and of course, being humans, fuck that noise. So we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, regardless of the consequences. Ta-da. So yeah. There's been plenty of stuff to go and like explore, and it keeps putting random things in. Like I had a ship land and I walked onto it expecting a fight, and I got told, "You're late." Right? They're like, well, "You were supposed to pick up these goods hours ago." They're like, "Goods? Yeah, I'll take them now, thanks." So yeah, that was very fun. But you get random interactions that you weren't expecting, which is kind of cool. And then this is the ship that I have, so this is the kind of, you know, so it's all the way through. There's a passenger compartment up there, which also has the docking ring on it. But that's it. That's pretty much the entire ship. You doubled down. No, you're late. Nice. Right. So, let's see where we're off to next. So we got that bar. So we're going to do the Eridani C1. And this is not about finding the temples, it's about finding the artifacts, because we don't have all of those either. Let's just scan the planet, see what supplies has got on it. Aluminium, helium 3, oh, that's not too bad. And then a little bit of combat. Weird looking persons. Stop it, Edison. Good lord, man. I don't want just one track mind. Men only want one thing, and it's literally disgusting. So yeah, and then I wanted to show you guys something that I found. The voice actor who does work for Games Workshop, and one of the things he's just done is utterly amazing. So. Oh. Roll. Well, that seems to work. Oh, hello. So this is the 0G thing I was talking about. So that's quite cool. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be awful to be one of these guys, right? Yes, you're right. The landing audio is really, really good. In fact, there's a lot of stuff in here that potentially they could They could do with. That was really badly timed, but we got there in the end, so it's okay. So yeah, it must be awful, you know, you've got your laser gun, you've got your whatever it is, gun that can punch holes in the side of spaceships. And as you're preparing to defend against this guy, all you hear is the sound of a sword dragging against its scabbard. And you must be like, oh my god, if this guy's coming in with a sword, he must be bawling. Like, what chance do we have? It's like, I don't play anymore. I'm done. I'll try not to be too loot-tastic on this, but I don't think we're going to get anywhere near where I was yesterday. Just because there's a lot of stuff to do, and there's a whole ship that we need to kind of work our way around that has all sorts of fun goodies on it and reasons to explore. So I don't think we're going to achieve that today. But whether it's something we achieve today or whether it's something that I end up putting in a video later, I'm sure we'll have fun with it at some point. Oh yeah, and just ask the boys, but you're not allowed a backseat. So if I can't see it, that's tough. You're just gonna have to put up with it. All right. God, I hate these things. I think it's that. I don't think it's that. So it's not that one. Marek, how much? I just say if Marek's here, how much does he want to kill me right now? There's that one. Let's do that. So the blue thing is telling me basically what it's suited on. So if it goes like that white, it doesn't apply to the outer circle. But yeah. It's not big enough to do that, is it? The spinny wazies. Oh, almost lost you guys there for a second. That's no good. Oh yeah, that took far too long to solve that problem, didn't it? Ugh. Right. Let's grab just the key. More storage stuff. Digipicks and blah blah blah. Anything else? There's cool little magazines that you pick up, and the magazines have. Yeah, this is the really sad thing. So that little bit of text, basically, you can find it at random outposts, and it basically says that they've been abandoned here. Not only are they not getting supplies coming down to them anymore, but they're not having stuff brought out to them at all, and no one's coming to pick them up, which is a little bit incredibly terrifying. Space, that is. Like that, there you go. Permanent increases weapon damage at night by 5%. I can do that. This is why you always have a plan B, 100%. I'm all about those plan Bs.
If you can succeed at that before we are discovered.
Rude.
Get me, though.
Are you sure?
We are triumphant.
If at first it doesn't work, use a bigger gun. Which did work, so there. Normally, I just spend hours looting every possible thing. That's not going to be very interesting to watch. Calgary says, the one thing I noticed about the locks is that the level of the lock doesn't correlate with the loot in the room or the box. No, it really doesn't. Edison says, plan B is, do you want to build a spaceship? I mean, yes. Why would I not want to build a spaceship? Do you want to build a spaceship? No. Stop it. Right, there's that one. That. And then this one. Yeah, you're entirely right. See, there's just no rhyme or reason to it whatsoever, but that's okay. You're obviously also supposed to be running around in synth me, Turkey. Why does that not sound... You, sir? Are you a... Sir? We shot someone earlier today, and they died standing up, and remained standing up the whole time. So after killing them, they were just like... stood there. Like, are you okay? I'm so sorry for killing you. I didn't. I mean, I did, but you get my point, right? Don't really need that.
Always worth checking. Never know what you might find in their pockets.
Please don't be. Yeah, there you go. Now, are we going to have another bad guy spawn in here? Because sometimes now, the Starborn appear. To be fair, right, if I show you... Let me just show you what's just happened there, right? The number on the right here is the damage that those guns do. So obviously you've got, like... That does next to nothing. It's a carryover gun, but I like it because it's silent. To the Lawgiver, which was the thing I was one-tapping people with earlier. You've got the Revenant, which is that thing with the array of dots. Now, when I fire, every single one of those dots fires. So although its damage is only 12, it does a hell of a lot of damage, right? You've got your Suppressed Pistol, you've got the Space Saber. That is why that thing is killing Starborn in 2 shots. It's literally just a... It's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah. And it gets all sorts of bonuses for doing nasty things to bad people. So, yeah, it's good. So this is the artifact that we're looking for. I'm going to get the Space Saber out and do some busting. You touch it, and this is what happens right at the beginning. You touch one, and it... that is a variety of gun design scars. Yes, yes, it is. There's some crazy ones in there. But yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's people aren't probably so much worried about Disney shutting me down as just the utter horror of me singing, and I sympathise. There are some things people should not be subjected to unless they've been exceptionally evil, and my singing is 100% one of those things. I do want to kind of go through here because there was a thing that I could unlock. Also, there's a couple of bodies to loot. So what's the space of communication one then? What's that? I doubt. New items, that thing.
Listen up, scumbags. The assholes are on the move, and we've got to be ready. No, not the UC, not the Freestar Collective. The ones that matter. Pirates, mercs, and those religious nutjobs.
Tomato! Space
we always
tomato.
knew there were some places left
Oh,
over
space
from the
tomato.
colony war. Bases, labs, stuff like that. But now it's come out that there are even more. A lot more. Spread all over the settled systems. Looks like the Big Two didn't play by their own rules when they were playing war. Now it's a friggin' feeding frenzy. Everyone trying to find them.
But like,
trying to use
the
them.
looting can
So
just
why
become
We've just
ridiculous.
as much right as
You
they
can
do.
spend hours and hours and hours.
Maybe trying to take a little too much on. Literally.
And then she gives me crap because I'm trying to loot stuff. You know, it's just not lovers quarrel. So, close. It fires in sequence like the metal storm weapons close to the 1 minute seconds. I mean, yes. We're beginning to get pretty incumbent now, but whatever. I mean, if you really even played one of these, if you haven't been so weighed down you can barely move. Because, you know, it's this thing. It's only an advanced one, so it'll be quick. Yeah. Absolutely no rhyme or reason to it whatsoever. There we go. Let's escape. Yeah. Ha 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 ha. And that was Tiff. To which she responds, "Who's Tiff?" I don't know what the random outside explosion was about. I don't. And if I'm being honest, they probably don't know either. But what do you do? I did like, you know, let's sneak up on them by landing right outside the right outside the outpost. What's quite interesting in some of these locations is that you can, like the refinery, the hoppers and the stuff that actually contains that raw material, still have that stuff in it, so you can actually loot them for the raw stuff, which may or may not influence you as to where you put like an outpost and stuff. So let's have a look. So we've done all of those things. Further into the known, add the artifacts to the connection. Here we go. So of course. But yeah. One thing that I'm just going to show us quickly whilst it's loading that is I just want to show you this. Now this is a guy called Chris. He does a lot of voices on YouTube. He's a professional voice actor. He's just read his first full audio book for Black Library, which is the writing and the narrative, you know, the story arm of Games Workshop, that do all the novels and audiobooks and stuff. Now, to give you a bit of background about what goes on here, if you're not a 40k fan, there's a Primarch called Sanguinius, And Sanguinius is Primarch of the Space Marine, the Blood Angel Space Marines. Okay, he was killed by Horus during the Horus Heresy. And the effect was so traumatic that the psychic shock of his death basically affected the gene seed, which is the genetic mutation they put into Space Marines to make them these superhuman warriors. So often what you can find is on the eve of battle, a certain number of Blood Angels will be affected by something called the Black Rage, which is where they are overcome with visions of Sanguinius' death at the hands of Horus. And they go into battle completely convinced that they are fighting that battle. They're not actually fighting the battle they're in, and they go berserk, and they often don't survive because they have no regard for their own safety, but they do a lot of damage before they get there. So anyway, Blood Angels are led by a chapter master at the moment called Dante. Dante is the longest living Space Marine that hasn't been interred in a dreadnought, which is like, wounded, they get put into these dreadnoughts. And they've basically become a fighting, walking robot of death. Dante has lived for over 1,500 years as a Space Marine. And he is fighting a frantic last defense of his homeworld. He's fighting the Swarm Lord, which is the leader of the Tyranid beasts that are attacking him. He has dispatched the Swarm Lord, but he has been so badly injured that he's basically in a fugue state. He's unconscious. And in this state, he has a vision of Sanguinius, and this is what you see now. So the first person you see, the one that's looking to the left, is Dante. The one that's looking to right is the Primer. And this was so fundamentally awesome and so incredibly powerful, I couldn't help but share it with you guys. So let's have a look. Yes, a tear just rolled over his cheek, in case you didn't spot it. Sanguinius. Dante.
You came. You came after all. My son. My greatest son. You have suffered greatly for mankind. You have earned your rest many times over, Louis of Bar Secundus. You have been a beacon of light in dark times. I would grant you any reward. Take you by my side. Free you from strife and pain. Yes. Please. I have served for so long. Grant me the freedom of death. I cannot. I regret that I can do none of those things. I need you, Dante. Your suffering is not over. Please, no, my lord. I have done enough. Please let me rest. I'm sorry, my son, but you cannot rest. Not yet. Live, my son. Live. No more. Take me with you. I beg you.
Someone is chopping onions. What I love about that is one of the things that they say about the Space Marines is, and they shall know no fear. And the idea is that fear has been bred out of them genetically. What that seems to have translated into with so many authors and people who portray them is that they have no feeling. Well, it's only fear that they lost. They have everything else that a human has. Because they are fundamentally human. They're just gene-enhanced humans. And, you know, if Henry Cavill's live-action Warhammer 40k series that he puts out on Amazon can capture half of the emotion that was in that one sequence, which I believe as he did as kind of a self-audition. He did it to get Black Library's attention, and he's got other things in there, and he reads from, if you find his Twitter, right, which I'll take us back to, his Instagram, which I'll take us back to in just a second. But if you go through, there's so many things in here that he does, right? So it's Chris Naturally RP. Yeah, it's an open profile. He's really, really, really good. To the point where he reads something as Gazgol Thraka, which is one of the orcs, which is the one that everyone else says. If it's not that one, it's this one that they really, really like. But, you know, if they can get that feeling into a series about Warhammer 40,000, rather than just relying on the fact, it's cool, it's superhuman people in armor, which is great once, but not all the time, right? It's just not it's not anything that will sustain a TV series for any great length of time. But that was just to hear what you know to be a space marine kind of beg and do the whole, no, I'm done. Like I'm done fighting. Because it's all they know. All they know is war. They have no other function. They do no other thing than fight for the Imperium. I just found that incredibly moving. But I'm just going to move you across now and show you the Hand of Gorgamork. It's quite a long piece, but this is the Orc Warlord Gazgol Thraka basically sending like a radio call out across the stars, calling orcs to him and challenging anyone else to fight him.
I'm the Hand of Gork and Mork. They sent me to rouse up the boys, to crush and kill, because the boys forgot what they're here for. I was one of the boys till the gods smashed me in the head, and I remembered that orcs is meant to conquer and make slaves of everything they don't kill. I'm the prophet of the Wa, and the whole world's burning my blueprints. On Armageddon, I led the boys through the fire deserts and smashed the Hermes metal cities to scrap. I fought Yarrick, Old One-Eye at Tartarus, and he fought good, but we smashed his city too. I'm deaf to anything that walks or crawls. Where I go, nothing stands in my way. We crushed the stunties on Golgotha, and we caught Old One-Eye where the speed freaks blew the Hermes big tons to bits. I let him go, because good enemies is hard to find. And orcs need enemies to fight, like they need meat to eat and grog to drink. I's more cunning than a grot, and more killy than a dread. The boys that follow me can't be beat. On Piscina, we jumped the Marine boys, and our boss bowls was covered in the helmets we took from the dead uns. We burned their port and killed their bosses and left nothing but ruins behind. I'm Warlord Gazgol Magorek Thraka, and I speak with the word of the gods. We's gonna stomp the universe flat and kill anything that fights back. We's gonna do this, 'cause we're orcs, and we was made to fight and win. I'm the Hand.
All right, that's enough. not twice. But yeah, just incredible performances. And the reason this kind of came to mind was the training we were doing this week was based around role plays. And normally I hate role plays, but we actually had actors in. And these actors knew the people that we were wanting to have these dummy conversations with and whatever else. So they were able to very, very easily kind of embody these people that we wanted to talk to. And one of the actors has applied for Henry Cavill's project. So I gave him a piece of paper with a website name and address on it and said if he gets it, he should let us know and we'll maybe have a chat with him. But that would be really, really cool if we could see that. That would be pretty ninja. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We can go back to it now. I know I've lost a few viewers. Clearly 40k in Starfield is not everyone's cup of tea, but yeah, hopefully we'll find some stuff out. So going to transition back and finish through to the last bit. Oh, I tell you what we did do. We picked up a power, but we didn't find out what we picked up, did we?
Nothing else. Constellation does have...
So we picked up anti-grav field. What's that? Solar flare. Wow. Tap into the power of a sun and release a directed orb of searing hot plasma. Yeah, I'll take that.
Excellent lodging.
I would be more useful to you aboard your ship than idling.
Look at how far we've come. It's all becoming so overwhelming. The Starborn, the artifact visions, the music. Is it all worth it?
Mateo, are you having a crisis of faith? You?
This is what we call, which I know now,
what if our hunt for the artifacts is a fool's errand?
You think we're doing the wrong thing? We just want answers. Isn't that why we all joined in the first place? The noble quest of discovery?
Agreed. We should not abandon our mission when things become difficult.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shame either of you. I just hope that this journey doesn't turn us into something that we wouldn't...
Hate to interrupt, but I have a favor. Lots of equipment on the eye. Got the nods and signs from Sim. Won't be going... Need more than just the you and I.
We've always considered ourselves explorers. But this really is
have
a German territory.
I'd like to speak to you.
I just wanted to do... Oh, here we go.
I want you helping Vladimir when you can. We can't find more artifacts without the eye. We should head to the station. I want you helping Vladimir when you can. We can't find more artifacts without
Okay, time for some crumping. Yeah, absolutely. Just so good, and his range is amazing. And sure, he's got, you know, he's got an effect. He's going through post effects to achieve that, but still pretty damn cool, right? Frontier. Here we go. Bonk. Ugh. You are carrying too much and cannot fast travel. Checking I am in the game and on the right screen, so I'm not happily playing away, if you guys can't see. Yeah. yeah, you know, there's times even here looking at this, yes, it's lovely, but it's certainly no Star Citizen. Do you know what I mean? And hopefully there's a space in which all these games can coexist and learn from each other and, you know, take on the best of each other, leave the worst behind, and whilst, you know, still retaining their own identities. That would be my hope.
Look who it is.
Yeah. So I'm just going to drop some of this stuff off because once again I'm loaded up to the nines. So let's get rid of whatever it is I'm carrying that's weighing me down. All of this stuff, no doubt. Oh. Okay. That's because I'm not in the other. So this might take quite a pause to sort out. Or, what is it to sort out? Let's have a quick look. We might need to go and get the Kepler again.
Got anything you need to offload? Okay, no problem.
Just because you've got more space, right? And then one of the top tips, if you're looking to move around a lot quicker, is you go to the cockpit from there. It gives you two options. Go to the cockpit and then just get up, rather than in a big ship like this, having to fight your way around to find the right spot, as it were. So I can now resources, my inventory resources, get rid of them all. Spacesuits, get rid of those. Backpacks, get rid of those. Weapons, don't want that one at the minute. All that one, all that one. Keep myself to the favorited ones. Aid. Can I get rid of some food? I could do that later, right? I'll do the interesting bits for now. So one of the things that's quite interesting is one of the things it's about to show us, in fact, is that it's not great at doing some things. It really is like disappointing at asking you to do certain things.
The eye is open to you, Constellation.
And we'll have a look at that in just a second, but it effectively kind of shows us that the game had no mechanism to do some of this for you, right? There was no way that the game could portray these elements, so it gives you a box of text to read, which is really worrying. But I'll show you what I mean. So we're on the Eye now. This is Constellation's basically space station / telescope thing.
Setting up some software. Want to test the computer over there?
So test, yeah, great. This is fine. Test connection done. Great.
Now that is some fine teamwork.
It's this bit, right? So
Mind helping me weld up some of these
here you
panels?
go. Weld the panel. Pick it up. You set up the welder and quickly seal the panels shut. And it's like, really? That's it. You set up the welder and quickly seal the panel shut.
Up here.
And that's it. You know, so you come around and
This scanning equipment needs to be installed. I could use your help.
again, you assemble the parts, but as you hook them up, they start to spark and
There
smoke.
seems to be a compatibility issue with the equipment.
This is also the bit that worries me. Is when you do stuff like this, and there's ammo everywhere. It's like, so building up to something, are we? It's the foreshadowing stuff again. I mean, if I wanted to nick some food, like, you see what I mean? I could just keep going, stealing stuff. I'm not going to. I'm just going to defrost instead.
Nice work. Didn't burn your hand off.
Never regretted coming out of retirement. Constellation's got the writ of the righteous. Keeps me young. You color the wrong wires. Station showing red. Nastier than I measured. Figured a few of the parts might be iffy, but...
This is my fault. I will stay until it is corrected.
No need for the martyr's clothes. As for you, while we're giving the eye...
There is no one I would rather see right now.
Oh, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Yeah, tons of arrow, right. I'd be interested to see if you will build a ship of your own. Yes, I will. At the moment, if we go into the skill tree, I'm locked behind a number of things. So you have Starship Engineering, so which is repair. You've got Starship Design, which is modules. Luckily enough, I'm maxed on piloting, so I can pilot Class C, which is what I was waiting for to pilot that big ship that I've got, the one that I brought up here. Yeah, there's lots of little bits and pieces that you find, you know, kind of you need to do little bits in to have access to, and I tend to do this on a when I need to basis, as opposed to just maxing everything straight out. Although I do kind of want to do the last of the Space Samurai stuff, because melee kills heal you. But, you know, we'll give it a go in a little while. There's because outpost engineering. Now that I'm building an outpost, I'm going to need to start putting a lot into that as well. To start building some really cool outpost stuff.
Still need to lift another set today. Then don't want to worry anyone, but we got more competition. Not Starborn. Rival collector. Captain Petrov owns a salvager vessel called the Scow. Runs it like a palace of novelties. And he's got a new prize in his collection.
Guess what that is?
Reached out through my hand-to-hands to see if we can do an honest swap.
So, yeah, he's got one of the artifacts that we pick up.
Price.
Doesn't want to get rid of it. He knows that it's special, but doesn't know why.
Left the life of a Jacobons behind myself. I know what I'm asking. But I see a clutch prize not up for the prying any other way. Not sending you lone hook on the job. I won't bear it with you on this one. You two will be foot to foot the whole way, so make sure you're ready. Catch a smile out there.
Yeah, we're going to go and have to grab Barrett. Close the damn fridge door. We're not made of energy, says Edison. I mean, make me, I guess. But yeah, let's have a look at what we do now. So we need to find a different way to do this, because it's really warm
Does
in
this
here.
place look cleaner than
This will
before?
be a problem that won't go away. Oh, sorry, will go away as things are cooler. That's into the storage space.
Captain?
Yeah, so she looks an utter monstrosity from the outside, right? I mean, or I could just come.
You don't have business with the scout. Our captain is not taking visitors.
Hey, you tell Petrov his old buddy Barrett is here to see him. He'll want to talk to us right away.
That's gonna be alright, right?
From Constellation.
Barrett, you're no use.
Oh, right. Forgot about that.
Thanks,
If
Barrett.
I could just talk to Petrov myself, I'm sure he'd want to put that all behind us.
Go. Away. No one uninvited would. If that's all you're here for, then maybe. Alright. I'll clear you to talk. Keep yourself out of trouble, or we'll have every...
That worked, right? We got ourselves on. That was a win. Narrator, it was not a win. So yeah, so there's some fun things that can happen on here. Also, as they're scavengers and just generally ne'er-do-wells, I think I might be closing this door. Ugh.
Who let you on board? Thought Petrov was done hiring Mesquite.
Yeah? What kind of salvage work you do? Sounds about right. A lot of spare parts out there.
A lot of these places were abandoned for reasons.
You're all right, scavenger. Go on ahead.
Yeah, thanks, because I needed your
Fine. Just ignore me then.
I needed your experience. Have you ever just been able to look at something in the game and just been able to smell it? Like, I feel that's the ship. I feel like I can just smell the damn thing. Blech. Don't want to break into that just yet.
Welcome to Petrov's Palace of Peculiarities, the pinnacle of perfect procurement, the penultimate panopticon of prosperity. Ha ha ha!
Want to be careful with the stolen stuff just now. Wow, I really do feel like I can smell this place. You know what I mean? Hello, dude. What have you got on you? Nothing. Okie dokie.
Hello. Hey. Well, gentlemen, we have a newcomer. Place your bets.
Wow, wash your face.
100 credits says they leave with one of the captain's glorious. You know those are colored aluminum, right? I say selling, but you win, Bull?
Yeah. Count me in.
Bold. Well, there isn't any such.
If only. All the stuff the captain's collected, and he never found something that would clean up.
I think it's by choice. Kind of a trash king chic, you know? Certainly not. Quiet. No
Not for free, eh?
Nope, I'm not paying you anything.
You know, if it were up to me, we wouldn't let people on the ship we haven't vetted personally.
I wasn't aware we had the visitors.
Sorry if I skip things through quite quickly. I read.
We have visitors.
Excellent. Now, relax. Oh, flattery! Between you and me, I do have something very special in the vault.
So do I persuade, do I attack, or do I let Barrett do the talking? I don't know. I kind of want to let Barrett just have at it, because, I mean, he did so well before. Let's let Barrett have a go.
Petrov! It's me! Barrett? You dare show your face in my ship again?
Hey, you still sore about that?
Ha! You old son of a space flea!
Oh, all right.
Old pal. How about a tour of the vault?
Of course! Come with me. I know.
That was
People
easy.
look at me and say, Petrov, your whole ship is a testament of splendor. Why do you need a special vault? Well, all I can say is that even the greatest collection needs its own private viewing area. Plus, between you and me, there are thieves everywhere. So I spare no
Enjoy your time on board.
The door between me and my treasures is painful, but that is the price of security, huh? Yes, sir. Just a bit further. This ship and I have been through some adventures, I'll tell you. I once collected salvage from a Deimos Celestial class while it was exploding. The crew was scraping scorch marks and
That's
bits
the
of
sea
mint
down
off
there.
the hull for weeks. And of course, there was the time I accidentally steered us into a UC Navy vessel after a particularly uproarious celebration of my latest acquisitions of fine art. But we were wedged perfectly between their two thrusters and were able to just kind of push them back into the Star Yard for repairs.
Guys, a liability.
And now, the moment itself.
Piggy bank. Ah! Screw the artifact. I want the piggy bank.
Beautiful, isn't it? The man who sold me this told me that it spoke to him. That holding it for the first time was like drowning in your own soul. Alas, I've held it several times, and my soul is still breathing, devoid of any such enlightenment. Oh no. No. It's only fair to warn you. Hands off. I would hate to sour our new friendship by becoming the victim of piracy.
We're not pirates, Petrov. We're explorers. Who might do a bit of pirate.
What are you? Guards!
Fire!
Can
Fire!
go low deck any
Sweet!
Best you can do?
Tell your crew to stand on.
For the likes of you.
What do I want to... Right, here we go. So I've chased him down, tried to kill him. What do I do?
Get out now.
Do I apologise?
Get out now.
Do I tell him to stand down? Or do I continue attacking and kill everybody?
Get out now.
I think we know what she wants us to do. What is it?
Get out now.
Yeah, she wants us to get out now. What does everyone else want to do?
Get out now. Get out now.
Thoughts?
Get
Let him live?
out now.
Let him live. Okay, tell your crew to stand down and no one else gets hurt. Blood for the blood god.
Get
Let's try that one.
Word is good.
Done! Stand down, everyone. Let the nice pirate pass.
now.
Got my attention.
Oh, don't worry about the mess. I'm
out
sure we can
now.
find a place to put the bodies.
What bodies?
Get out now.
Shut up. Jesus. She just keeps going. Oh, okay, so this is all
What
free.
if we leave a few
Nice.
things here?
So please don't tell me she says it. She continues saying it while I'm doing this. Because that would just be... Ugh.
And make a second trip.
Get out now.
Jesus. On track.
Get out now.
I think you stood in front of that for a reason. Nope.
Damn it, Petrov. I was just getting warmed up.
So we can get out of here. Before it all goes wrong.
It's over, right? You're gonna leave?
Yeah. Unless I get up here and it all goes Pete's on.
Filthy pirate. We're not gonna forget this.
Bye, boys.
So what? We're just going to let you loot the ship?
Yep. For science, obviously. Just this encumbered mechanic is. Do you know what? Let's do this. I can't anymore. Fixed it. Hey, bud.
We'll let you on board.
Oh no.
Fine. Just ignore me then.
So he hasn't heard yet. So I might be able to get off before it all goes wrong. Yeah, it is. That's what I mean about the ships in here, Hellwinter. It's really crazy. The design is not so good. Use the parcel at my power to be. Oh yeah. Fair enough. Let's undock and see if I can get away before he opens fire and nails me completely. So with that then, add the artifact to collection. Well, we've kind of come up on 11 o'clock. So what I'm tempted to do there, guys, is save it. And I may well record and turn into a video the next bit. And go from there, because what happens next is a significant part of the story, and not something that I can cover in a short amount of time. So let's leave that there for the time being. Thank you very much for stopping in and having a chat with us today. I am just wanting to say again, CitizenCon 21st, 22nd. If you've got nothing else to do, come join us. Looking to make it a big thing. Come into Discord. We'll figure out some way of having a conversation, whether we do like people putting their hands up to talk or whatever, but we'll find some way of having a decent chat about stuff, and have a few beers along the way, a few good giggles, and hopefully some discussion in between each of the segments. But it'd be really good to have you here, and make it as involved as we can. We've got a nice, decent sized community, a lot of the same faces in chat, so it'd be great to see you guys all and get involved for CitizenCon. All right. You've been watching Drinkers with Gaming Problems. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'll see you soon.